Yes, Mzansi, welcome back to the one and only Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ding, ding, ding! Oh, yes, there's nothing better than the sight of spring than when South Africa blossoms. And that's what the most beautiful flora and seasonal fruit and veg bring it on. Now, this morning's hotline is a special spring edition, and joining us to share 3 of her spring-inspired recipes, we've got private chef and culinary creative Furusa in the building. Yes, so if you have any questions for Ru, then come through, join the discussion. You can use the voice note number and our WhatsApp line. That's 063-408-8863. But without further ado, let's find out about you, Ru. How are you doing, Ru?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
So good, so excited for this one. I know a lot about you when it comes to the ingredients, and it is premium. It's everything I'm here to celebrate. It's inspired by nature, so take me through this beautiful journey.
This is going to be so exciting. So we're making a green goddess pesto pasta. It's all inspired by spring, so we're going to get right stuck into it.
Let's get straight into it. First, I didn't even ask you, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
I am good.
Okay, we've got to get that out the way. Okay?
I'm
making sure everybody's good. Zanzi, you good too? Let's get straight into this recipe. What are we doing? What's happening?
Okay, so I'm going to get you here, and I'm going to start by chopping some asparagus.
Okay.
I want you to get stuck into the pesto sauce.
Ooh, this is like, you're putting a lot of pressure on me here, right? This is going to bring it all together.
You know what? That's actually the very easy part.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not a lot of pressure.
What am I doing
So you're going to just cut up that lemon.
Yes, slices or... Okay, cool.
Just in half. And I'm just adding some butter into our pan.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to get that butter going. What I'm doing is just adding some vegetables to our pan. Nice. I've got some peas here.
Nice.
We've got some asparagus that I've just chopped up.
We're using premium greens here.
Premium greens.
I must just say, asparagus is like, it's a little bit of a shocker because it tastes delicious. It's something you can grill, you can cook, you can do so much with, right? But at the same time, I always look at the price tag, I'm like, yeah, I see why you're so expensive. More value is wrapped up in that price for sure. Like asparagus or a steak? I think a lot of people go with asparagus these days, especially after seeing this recipe too.
I think so too. So what you're going to do is actually now get all of our ingredients into the blender.
All right.
So we've got some fresh herbs.
Fresh herbs. So is this, I'm assuming, the pesto?
That is some basil. So basil is essential to our pesto. So we've got some basil. You can just pop it all, maybe half of that. Yeah, we would need to leave a little bit for garnish. Okay. And then you're going to add some parsley in there, also fresh.
I've just got to check that it's not cheese kryptonite when it comes to one of the ingredients. I'll talk about that later. Something I'm not a fan of, but that's great. You'll love that.
We've got some spring onions or green onions.
Is this all going into the pesto?
This is all going into the pesto. You'll see that when we...
ingredients like this in a pesto, but okay, I'm here for it.
Blend it up.
It looks like we've got some, is that plain yogurt?
Yes, that is just some double cream yogurt.
Nice. Bring it all together.
That brings it all really together.
Anything else going in here?
Yes. We've also got some olive oil and garlic.
Olive oil, garlic. And I don't need to crush it, obviously, because it's going straight in the blender, right?
Straight in the blender.
And then the lemon that I cut up as well, we're going to squeeze
half of that into
half of that in there.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to season my vegetables here with some salt and pepper.
Beautiful greens right there, because this is what's making this green goddess come to life, yes?
That is it.
Can I start blending away? I'm going to pop some water in here too?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, all right? You can say when?
You can stop now. Right. And then last but not least, we've got some Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan cheese,
100%.
Okay.
So that gives a really nice creamy texture to our... That's enough.
Okay, that's enough. Put it all in. That's not too much. All right.
No problem.
That pretty much puts together all the ingredients that are going to bring the... And this is the... What did you say this was called? Like the pesto sort of sauce? What are you calling this?
So this is a green goddess pesto sauce.
Green goddess pesto sauce. All right. So this is that time, especially when the noise goes, that you can tell me your deepest, darkest secret, because no one's going to hear anything.
Okay. Can you believe that?
Was that it?
That was it.
No ways.
I cannot.
Listen, we were busy talking. The blender was busy going on, and I also heard a lot of calls in my ear. The voice notes are going crazy for you, Ru. I've got one that's come through now. I don't know who it is, but let's find out and say, good morning.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm using an asparagus. What is the cheaper alternative, and what will give me the same texture?
You see, that's what I was speaking about, Jasmine. I said, you get me. I know there are are a little bit pricey, but trust me, when you cook correctly with them, it's so worth it. But do you know of any alternatives that we could use instead of
definitely. So there's some broccoli. You could use broccoli, tender stem broccoli. It's got the same texture. You could use some snap peas. You could even use green beans.
Nice.
So that's a very...
I wanted to ask you about this one veg, but I actually can't remember the name. We worked on the show. It looked like this weird Fibonacci-looking, like, mix between broccoli and... I think it's Brussels sprouts or something like that. Have you ever heard of something like this? I'll try to find out later on in the next round. We'll find out what the name is. It's just lost me. Mzansi, maybe you can help me out on this. It's a... Romanesco. That's the one.
Yes.
Romanesco. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. It's not very common here.
Yeah.
I know they use it a lot in the States, but it's actually something really good. It tastes just like broccoli. It's a mix between broccoli and Brussels.
Tried it for the first time, I think, like Monday, actually, to be very honest with you. I was blown away, not only by how pretty it looks, but the fact that Mother Nature just continually inspires. And just like this recipe, and let me tell you, Mzansi, I didn't even get to mention the smell of the sauce you put together. I was questioning everything about your ingredients. Like, how can you put parmesan in here? How can you put... I'm sorry. I will never doubt you again, Ru. I will never question your expertise.
Okay, so it's all coming together, as you can see. We've got... That's nice. You can see some of the
asparagus has a bit of a char to it as well. I like that. Well played. That's intentional, right? That's not burnt.
It is intentional. And you can see the colors are really vibrant. That's what we're going for with our pasta.
I'm loving this. It's reminding me of all the good things in life for many people. For me as a nature boy, that's earth, that's nature, that's green. For some of my other friends in the studio, that represents money. So all the good stuff, you know, green with envy. I love it.
I love that analogy. Money everywhere. Okay,
covers all the boxes. We're pretty much in the end phase of this recipe, right?
Yes.
It's like it's all come together. What else are we doing to this?
Okay, so what we're going to do is nicely plate it up.
Okay.
We want to garnish it. We want to add some seasoning as well. Since you poured all of our parmesan into here, we've got other nice, beautiful things we can add to our pasta.
I love the shade from Ruya. If you guys didn't pick up on that one, just subtly letting me know that it's okay. We'll work with your compromising skills in the kitchen. But what I can do is clean up and really make a plate look that good. So let's do justice to this. Let's show off right now. All right.
So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to move this over here. And then we're going to plate it up. I'm sure you can smell
it. Hot for you? Let me grab,
amazing.
Where is the hand? Oh, here we go. We can grab this. I'll just grab the one side for you.
Okay.
And, I've left all my, here we go. Left all my things all over the show, so I'll grab that for you, Ru. Let me just make sure it's not too hot. Am I popping it straight in there?
Just pop it straight in there.
On you. All right.
On here.
Got that. Beautiful stuff.
So the reason why I didn't ask you to just pour it on
plonk it straight on, yes.
It gets all messy, so we want...
That's exactly what I was going to do. So, Mzansi, pay attention to this one. When you're plating, when you're showing off to your guests, especially after putting so much effort into a beautiful plate like this, delivered from Ru, you want to make sure...
There is an art to plating, actually. And you know that most of us eat with our eyes.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do.
So, we've got all of this green goodness.
Ooh. Look at the suspense. Expresso.com, Mzansi, get this recipe, get inspired, go show off with your guests. And as we put the finishing touches on this, let me remind you, we've got another 2 segments coming at you. Ru is here to entertain and serve. So if you've got any questions for her, come through on our number. It's 063-408-8863. It's nothing but Ru for you, boo. What are you waiting for? Get involved in this one. Look at this!
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. You are just in time as we're about to kick off another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling. The studio hasn't had coffee yet. It's okay. But we are cooking up some spring-inspired recipes with private chef and culinary creative Ru Furusa. And if you have any questions for Ru, why don't you join the discussion? Send us your voice notes. Our number is 063-408-8863. And Ru, I love this because we're about to do a massaged kale salad with chickpeas, something I've never heard of before. Are we actually going to massage the kale?
We are actually going to get in there and massage the kale. Give it some pamper time.
I was about to say, why is it necessary to pamper? Can I help you with the massaging?
Yes,
what is this process?
So to start off, I think I'm going to go on that side.
Let's swap places.
You can come this side. You can just roughly chop our kale.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say roughly, like big chunks.
Like big chunks, you can use this.
Let's use the big knife. Yeah, that would make sense.
While you do that, I'm just going to prepare our chickpeas because we've got some chickpeas going with our salad. So I'm just adding some olive oil to our pan and some chickpeas that are cooked. You can use tinned chickpeas as well that have been drained.
And you obviously want to give it a good wash. When you, I was told once the reason I sometimes experience uncomfortable bloatiness after consuming chickpeas is generally there's a bit of a residue that's part of the tin chickpeas.
That's so true. But also even with raw chickpeas, when you want to cook them, dried chickpeas, you have to soak them first for at least 8 hours.
Okay.
So it releases some of that acid.
Oh, fantastic.
So we just, as you know, chickpeas are very bland. So we want to make sure we're adding something to like zhuzh it up and bring out the flavor. So we're going to add some paprika here.
Oof. There we go.
Okay.
That's also going to add a beautiful color to our chickpeas.
The color. And some cumin as well. And that also just gives some earthy tones to our chickpeas. And of course, salt and pepper. And then we're getting right into that kale.
To the massage.
Yes. So thank you for chopping it like that. It's perfect.
Okay. Great to know that is a good definition of a rough chop.
Okay, so what we want to do before we get into massaging it, we need to make the dressing that's going to get
We're literally leaving this for the very last.
We're going to leave that for the very last. So we've got some ingredients for that. So you're going to help me with just...
Of course. Tell me where to start.
So you can start with this is the tahini.
Okay.
Tahini is a sesame seed paste. Very, very lovely paste. Very common in like Middle Eastern cooking.
Also great for making part of your hummus with your chickpeas.
Absolutely, absolutely adds that flavor. We've got some maple syrup.
Can I add all of it?
Yes, all of that goes in there. Maple and tahini are like best friends.
Okay.
And then we've got some ginger.
Fresh
so we're just
ginger.
Gonna toss that in there.
And I'm assuming a bit of garlic.
That's it. All of that goes in there. And you're just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon, half of that lemon.
This one?
Into there.
See, this is where I'm terrible at squeezing a lemon.
You do really well.
I have one of those little tools. It was like the coolest thing I bought. It's just it squeezes the lemon for you. You just like pinch it together and get everything
That's a hand
out.
tool.
It is. Because I always have random little cuts on my hand, and then you squeeze the lemon and you feel it burn. You're like, where did that cut come from?
And then we've got our olive oil here. That does wonders to bind our dressing. So you'll see some scientific reaction happening. It'll emulsify. So when the lemon and the oil come together, it's just like it's magic.
Okay. So Ru, we are doing the Culinary Hotline where we encourage our viewers to ask questions because you are the chef, you are the creative, and perhaps you can shed some advice. So we've got a voice note that came through. Good morning.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm from Joburg, and I just want to know, why do we need to massage the kale leaves?
Ooh.
Like, do we need to massage all the leafy vegetables?
Okay, thank you, Jenna from Joburg. Okay, so we never really got to that answer as why do we need to massage the kale?
That's a really good question. And you'll see that kale is it has a very thick, fibrous structure. So I'm just going to ask you to set a leaf aside.
Okay.
And we'll answer that question when we...
Okay, so we will get to that answer, Jenna. Okay, we'll get... We are literally leaving this component for the very end. Can I blitz this up for us?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give it a good blitz. All our tahini is now at the bottom, but we'll mix it up.
Okay. I think that's good.
It's good.
Awesome.
Well mixed.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to now add our kale into here.
Okay.
Right.
All of it?
All of it.
Okay, we're adding our kale into the bowl. Yeah, you're keeping us on the edge of our seat.
I promise
we'll keep this one out so we can show you the difference. Okay, do you want the stringy part? Or
you can leave that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do now is just add half of this dressing, and we will start to massage that.
So we're actually going in
I have to roll up my sleeves to do this.
Okay. Now, Chef, why are we doing this?
Okay, why we're doing this is because kale has a very fibrous structure. So you're actually wanting to break it down so that it's edible. I don't know if you've tried it, but if you try and eat a leaf of kale right now, it's not going to taste that good.
Okay.
So what we're doing is breaking down all of that. That's why we've got the lemon, we've got the oil in there. We want to break down that structure, and you'll see once I've massaged it for like a few minutes, that it becomes softer, and I can actually chew it, and it actually tastes good.
Does it release some of its flavor components?
Well, I wouldn't say it actually retains the flavor in there. Yeah.
From the dressing that we've just added to it.
Exactly.
And is this something that's only geared towards kale? Because Jenna also asked, should we be massaging all of our leafy veg now?
Okay, so kale is different from, say, spinach, because spinach has a much more flexible structure.
Okay.
So not necessarily with spinach, but definitely with kale.
Okay.
And different varieties of kale have different structures, but I would say the curly kale, the really curly one, that one is the most difficult.
Now, who realized they had to massage their kale and then decided to share that hack with the rest of the world?
Okay, so I want you to see now, Zoe, if you compare that leaf and this leaf, you'll see that this one is way softer. This is still very tough.
Yes.
And if you were to try
and unappetizing.
No, that would not taste good. So I think that's why kale gets a very bad rep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've loved, drizzling a bit of olive oil, putting some spices and popping it into the oven, making some kale chips, but I've never actually seen it this way, and now I understand why you need to add a bit of a massage. So we're going to finish off the salad.
Right.
Chef, we've got our chickpeas that looks pretty much done.
Yes.
How are we serving our kale massage salad?
Okay, so what we're going to do, we've reserved half of the dressing.
Yes.
So we're going to top that with our chickpeas.
Okay.
So you can see the chickpeas are a nice golden color. The spices smell really good if you want to.
You can get a good waft of that. You can smell the paprika. The cumin is coming through beautifully. And look at us, just putting our chickpeas everywhere.
Okay. And then what you want to do is you can pour over that dressing.
Do we just do a little bit of a drizzle or all over?
Just all over.
All
just however
over.
you like it to go.
I like a saucy.
I love it.
Salad.
That looks so good already.
Fantastic.
And then we're going to top that with some dried cranberries. Just sprinkle that. And then we've also got some flaked almonds.
Oh,
You
fantastic.
can just top that as well.
I will finish off with this. Well, if you want to get your hands on this delicious recipe that Chef Rue just showed us how to make, it is available on our website, expressoshow.com. And if you have questions for Rue, let us know. Our number is 063-408-8863. We will be back with a final culinary hotline. Let's just see if the studio has woken up. This is the culinary hotline. Bling! Ding, ding, ding! We'll get there.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to the kitchen. We've been making the most delicious spring-inspired dishes, from a green goddess pesto, spring pasta, to a massaged kale salad. Yes, you can massage your kale if you want, with chickpeas and tahini maple dressing, of course, with Chef Rue. And now she is going to add the strawberry on top, not the cherry on top, with something truly delicious. It's not a Milo strawberry apple crumble recipe, okay? It's a miso strawberry apple crumble recipe. Wow. We love our Milo, but we love the sound of this. First of all, I've got to ask, because we haven't connected, are you enjoying yourself in the hot seat today?
I am having a blast. This is like mind-blowing. I love this, and I love being in the kitchen. So.
And we can feel that vibe. I love it. You haven't put a step wrong. You've created some delicious recipes. I'm fasting at the moment, so you must know the torture that I'm going through, girls. So I'm going to live vicariously through you. We're going to create something quite different here. When we talk about a crumble, there's certain notes that you've got to hit. There's an expectation. You want the crumble, you want the caramelization, the sweet, the fruit additive, but you're doing this differently. Where do we begin?
So this is not your average apple crumble. Yeah. So let's start off there. We've got some strawberries, and we're using miso. I don't know if you're familiar with miso.
We've used it, but not like this.
Yes. So miso is not a common thing you'd find in desserts. But it brings a nice salty element to it. So let's get started.
Salty and sweet really can go
it
well
really
together.
Goes so well, and you'll see that when you get to taste
So what do you need from the strawberries?
So I need you to just remove the tops of that.
Remove the ends?
Yes.
So you've really given me the complicated stuff to do.
That is
You've spoken to our kitchen team, and they've let you know. The funny thing is, I've learned through our amazing kitchen team, Nicole obviously heads that up, but I think just from osmosis of being in the presence of chefs like you, I've just, inadvertently absorbed all of this wonderful culinary knowledge. But there is no better way to express the love for people, for your own culture, for yourself.
100%.
Self-love starts with what you put into your body. There's so many notions about this that feel so good.
And that's ultimately my philosophy. I believe that you heal from the inside out.
For sure.
So what you eat really matters.
For
so
sure.
I'm going to get you to chop this apple up, and then we can start getting everything
into
together.
Quarters, kind of vibe. Okay.
Into chunks.
I bought a new chef's knife yesterday, which I'd been saving up for, and then promptly, almost sliced my finger off.
Oh, my goodness.
But that was even more exciting because I was like, yeah, it's a proper chef's knife. I've arrived. And you've got to use the right tools and equipment. But what I would say is with flavors and things like this, push the boat out. We are so lucky to have so many influences here.
Yes.
Play with that.
Definitely. So you have to really just push. So we've got our strawberries. I'm adding the strawberries to our big bowl here.
What did you call it? A rough chop? I went for a very rustic chop.
I like that because you know what? With the apple crumble, the apple's cooked down. So you don't want them to turn into mush.
So you want a little bit of substance.
You need that substance. Okay. So, and then we're just going to add our apples there. You can add the ones, pop those inside. Okay. And then we've got our miso paste. So you can just use that to scoop some miso in. So there's different kinds of miso. This is a darker miso. There's a sweeter white miso you can use if you don't like the saltier taste.
Oh, this is funky.
It is. You want to taste some before you put it in.
I'm going to just use it. Where do you get this? Where do you buy it?
So you can buy it at any Asian supermarket. I know there's some retailers that stock it, even in the grocery stores, so you can definitely find it out there. But the Asian supermarket is your best bet.
It's quite weird because it's umami, but it's not too salty.
It's definitely umami, and it brings that new element into it.
Am I just throwing it in?
Throw it in. So we've got some caster some sugar as well.
And I suppose the caster is nice because it'll dissolve quite quickly. It'll become quite syrupy.
And you can't have apples and no cinnamon.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
A little bit of cinnamon. And I'm going to ask you to just mix that all up.
Sure.
Don't worry about the miso clumping.
Okay.
The sugar is going to help it release. So just mix that together.
And I like the idea of a flavor journey where you get different intensities for different bites. You know, as you progress, it must be a journey.
Exactly. And you can see now the miso starting to disintegrate.
Oh, immediately, yeah. Oh, wow.
So we're going to let that sit for a little bit and then move on to the crumble.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to pop this over there.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, now this is where kind of the tire hits the tar. You've got to get the crumble right because this is the crunch.
It's essential. It's essential, and you'll see that in this crumble we've added some extra textural elements to make sure that it actually tastes like a crumble.
You get that crunch.
You don't want to bite into it and you're like, what does this taste like?
And then sip a soggy crumble. No one needs that.
We need it to be actually a crumble.
Okay, and I know the butter is a big part of that. You want that buttery flavor, that nuttiness that's going to come through.
That's right.
I love it. And oats is also healthy. I know we're making a dessert, so health isn't where we start, okay? But if you can incorporate good nutrients, great.
Yes. So oats is, again, it's also giving that texture. So you want it to be quite crumbly, and it helps. So you're gonna
and it's beta gluten, okay, which is great for gut health, okay? I'm just going to say.
100%. So we're adding our flour
and
now.
Happiness is also great for gut health, eh? You know that your gut is an emotional processor as much as it's a nutritional processor, eh? You do. Yes. In your solar plexus, this area here is a huge emotional kind of anchor point. Yes. Make your tummy feel good. You'll feel better. There's a reason why we get joy out of food.
That's it.
It really is.
I'm liking your approach to this.
Science,
I love it. So we're adding some demerara sugar.
Okay.
So again, this is something different from caster sugar. You can see it's quite
toffee.
Exactly. So that's the flavor we're going for, the flavor profile. We want it to be toffee, caramel-like.
Yeah, my osmosis. I'm even stealing thoughts from your brain here and passing them off as my own. Eh?
I love it. I love this.
You have now hit the nail on the head with our job, okay? It's basically stealing the intellectual property of the last chef and then selling it as our own to the next chef. And that's how you just roll through that. The amount of times I see our foodie teams rolling their eyes at me as I say something they've told me as if I've just thought of it
and
myself.
And they're like, this guy.
But no, we're learning, and I love it because this is what the kitchen is about. It's about doing it your way.
100%. And that way you bring your personality to it.
Completely.
And it means so much more. So now we are just getting our hands dirty.
And this, you don't want to kind of play or fast-track this part of the process because you want that crumble, yeah?
You want that crumble. And I know some people get impatient, but you actually want it to resemble like a crumble. That's what we're aiming for.
I love it. When you apply your kind of mentality to recipes,
yes.
Do you start with the tradition and work from there? Do you start with a crazy idea?
Yes.
Like, were you eating miso and we're like, hang on a minute, I could mix this with a strawberry and do something. Where does your inspo come from?
So my inspiration, I have traveled a lot and I love different elements of different cultures. So I love fusion cooking. So this is very much a fusion kind of dish where you look at miso, like you're saying, and it's an umami. I love umami as a profile.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, there's a way we could include this in the dessert, and I tried it with the apple at first. And I thought, oh no, strawberries.
You see, and strawberries can play in that space quite a lot. If you've got like feta can work with strawberries. It's crazy like that. What is the craziest combination you've come across that surprised you the most?
I think peanut butter and pear.
Ooh, I love it. I love the mentality. Okay, so we don't want to rush this part of the process. Just talk us through how these two come together to create our final dish.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to just spoon in this mixture.
Beautiful, fruity
it's been settling for a little bit, so there might be a little bit of liquid at the bottom, and that's totally fine.
That's all right, yeah. Oh, I love it. So we are going to continue working through our beautiful miso apple strawberry crumble, which is going to be a game changer and really does scream spring. It's fresh fruit, it's fresh flavors, it's a fresh perspective from a fresh young chef who is making waves. Chef Rue, we absolutely love having you here. We're going to put the finishing touches to our crumble, and then I won't eat it, but share it with the rest of you if you're creating at home. We want pictures.
Yes.
Or you can just eat it like that.
It looks divine.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
All right. I'm preparing myself to be back in the kitchen, not because I get to taste, but because I can't taste our end result. Rue, okay, we're putting up the final touches now and I'm glad that the flavors have been able to incorporate with our miso, our strawberries, and our apple. Now we introduce the crumble, which looks great.
So you can see now the crumble is actually looking like a crumble.
And it's crumbly.
And if there's bits of butter there, don't worry about those. They'll melt right.
Mo butter, mo better. I think something like this, the joy is going to be having the crispy caramelized top and then the juicy, unctuous mix underneath it.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. So now I'm thinking this is a special taste. Not everyone deserves this, and because Paul Ryle got beaten for the 9,462nd time by Zoe today so badly, I'm gonna invite Ryle in. It is comforting.
I need this. Yeah, I'm still recovering.
This will live in your head instead of Zoe, who's living rent-free.
Honestly, anything coming from Rue right now, I am here for. How do we do the perfect serve? You've got to get a little bit of everything, right?
A little bit of everything, especially that sauce at the bottom.
Yeah, get a
bottom. Ooh, look at that. All right, there we got it. Oh, okay. Textures, yes. Sweetness, yes, but not so overpowering at the same time.
Right.
Wait, the one thing that's standing out here, this is a weird ingredient. It's your love.
Oh,
that's what it is.
I was waiting for you to say Milo, but no Milo, it's the miso. So how does the miso land in all of that? Because there is a savory or an umami element in it.
I didn't even know what that was in the first place, but I think there's nothing better that can balance this, because the sorbet does have a sort of tanginess to it.
A bit of a tart, yeah.
Yeah, sort of a citrus feel to it. So the balance is perfection when you add that miso in. I'm learning something right now, and I'm learning that you are never to be doubted ever again.
Never shall she be doubted. We absolutely love it. Oh, Raul, you can take the whole thing.
Cheers, thank you. I'm out of here.
You've earned that, boy. You've earned that, because you're a winner, son.